Good morning, everyone. Rick Bushell here. You Can Cook. Today I'm working on one of the last lights to go up in my pizza pergola. It's an old heavy wok that I've stopped using because it's too heavy. And I prefer the ones I get, the $5-6 cheap ones from Chinatown that you just flip around so easily. So this has been lying in the cupboard for years. It's now going to be a light in here. But what I wanted to talk to you about was our recent trip to many of the countries that Pauline and I just visited, and one of them being Vietnam. It was the last one, and in all fairness, all the countries we went to were fabulous, the people were fabulous, the food was fabulous. But our last trip, and maybe because it seems like the best, but I think it's because it was our last stop, we had 2 weeks in Vietnam. We stopped in Hoi An for a week and another week down, or 9 days, in Ho Chi Minh. But while we were in Ho Chi Minh, the missus just said, why don't we take a trip on the Mekong? Well, that's what we did. And inclusive in the package was they pick you up right at your hotel. They take you to this pier. You get on this big wooden boat, really, really cool boat. And off we went for 3 days. It was so cool. But look, instead of waffling on about it, let me show you. Let's go to Kai Vi Pier right now. Well, we've just launched the boat. We're on the Bassac II. We're going up the Mekong. We've got 2 nights here. We don't know what to expect, and we've got some of our lovely staff are behind us here. So look, let's let the adventure begin. There's more than enough room on the boat. The rooms are comfortable with their own en-suites and air conditioner, with the air conditioner on 24/7. The outdoor dining area in itself absolutely gorgeous, with constantly changing and stunning views. We certainly didn't go hungry. There's all manner of tasty dishes served up by the very friendly staff. Our tour guide, Took, explains everything in detail. Each day was packed with adventures. Even just being on the boat, life was happening all around us. One only had to look. Any plant or tree you could even point at, our tour guide could give you a detailed account on what it is and what they use it for. And I mean anything, even if it's used for medicine. Okay, that puppy now is up and running and working beautifully. What I want to do is recap on our trip on the Mekong. First off, in one word, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The trip was serene. It was relaxing. There were so many things to see and do. There's something happening all the time, even though you might be relaxing with a drink on the boat. There's excursions to go out and see these villages, exactly how people live. And one thing I want to say about this business, I think it's run by Trans-Mekong. We were on the Bassac II. A lot of tourist places, they take you to places where you have to buy that stuff. There's no other place you can go. There is absolutely no pressure whatsoever with this trip. If you don't want to buy something, you don't have to buy something. In that way, it's like this. I've been to so many places in the world where there's so much pressure to buy stuff, and because you're a tourist. It's like what we call a tourist trap. It was nothing like that whatsoever. You don't have to buy anything. So in that regard, I give Trans-Mekong a AAA. We were very comfortable, well looked after. Now, my wife and I, we like to consider ourselves true foodies. We like really good food that doesn't cost the earth. And in Vietnam, oh man, such good food. But the food on the Bassac II, look, I think it could have been better. In one regard, I think that Pauline and I, in particular, we wanted real Vietnamese food, which I think there's a fusion on the Bassac II. It's kind of like, when in Rome, eat what the Romans do. And everywhere else we went, we're always trying things that we've never tried before, which is part of the adventure. Look, the food was good. You get plenty of it. Being true foodies, we think it could have been up another notch or two. But look, it's certainly not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. We enjoyed our trip immensely. I would highly recommend this trip to anybody. Some people said that 3 days was too long. I could have stayed another 3 days on top of that. The staff on the Bassac II, absolutely astounding. They accommodated you. They made you feel at home and comfortable, almost like you were family. They're super nice. They're super friendly, and they're waiting on you hand and foot from the moment you arrive to the moment you depart. I cannot fault the staff on the Bassac II. You may want to think of putting this trip on your bucket list. It really is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. We also went to Hoi An. Now, Hoi An, for me, the food was much better than it is in Saigon. It's a bit more touristy, but you can get away from that by just going back a street or two. My next video on Vietnam is all about Hoi An and the food that we had there. So make sure you subscribe, you won't miss that. I'm Rick Michelle, this is You Can Cook, and I hope to see you next time.
You Can Cook!